Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The makers of Super Shell Gasoline invite you to Shell CHATEAU, where your host is the world's outstanding entertainer, Al Jolson, with an all-star bill of famous guest stars. We switch you now to Shell CHATEAU, where you'll be greeted by Al Jolson.
Good evening, friends. Here's where your worry ends. Where everyone attends. Good evening, friends. Your name somehow I can't recall right now, but know you all I vow. Good evening, friends. Hier ist Herr Flamm und sein Madame, Monsieur Berry und Star Sherry. I know you all I do. Good evening, friends. Pull up a chair and turn the lights down low. You're at our Shell CHATEAU. Good evening, friends. We're on the air just once a week, you know. Each week a brand new show for you, my friends. The music starts. The curtain parts. An hour of fun for everyone. Although it's true that I cannot see you, I almost feel I do. Good evening, friends. Thank you, folks, thank you. Here it is, Saturday night again, and I want to tell you honestly, it's a pleasure to welcome you to Shell CHATEAU. Why? Because tonight I'm probably happier than I've been in the past 7 years. And ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason why I'm happy today. I am married 7 years today. And wait a minute, folks, in Hollywood it's like being married 700. That's a record. And what a show we have tonight. Shell CHATEAU is proud, and I know Mr. Shell, an handsome hero of more picks than you could count, who present a very exciting one-act play. In talking about that actor whom the men all hate and the women love, I'm speaking of RICCARDO CORTEZ. And there's one thing I admire about him, and that is the moment he gets through making a picture, he's interested in nightlife like most of the others are. He goes off on his little farm and leads a real, quiet, normal life. He invited me up to the farm the other day, and when I arrived there, I saw him feeding the strangest-looking bird I've ever seen in my life. I turned to Cortez and I said, Ricky, what kind of a bird is that? What in the world do you call it? He said, well, Al, you see, I've been cross-breeding parrots with hens, and this is the result. And I said, well, what's the idea? And Ricardo said, well, when she gets ready to lay an egg, she walks up to me and says, boss, where do you want me to put her? Oh, that's nothing. For novelty, we have a brand new champion, Wilmer Allison, who just won the American singles tennis champion from the Englishman Fred Perry. And at this very moment, he's playing a 5-set double match in the Pacific Southwest Tournament. For song, we have Miss June Marlowe, a little girl who just returned from the great California Fair in San Diego, where she's been a sensational success. For comedy, well, folks, we really have comedy. Frank McHugh and Alan Jenkins, the starring comedians of dozens of Warner Brothers pictures. And I know we're in for a lot of laughs. And last but not least, for music, ladies and gentlemen, we have Shell CHATEAU's own famous maestro, Victor Z. Young. Naturally, you folks wonder what Z stands for. Zebok. Victor Zebok Young. And I must tell you right here one little thing about Victor. This is kind of a secret. Since Victor came to Hollywood, he's become a lover as great as any screen's leading man. Yes, sir, Victor is a Don Juanie. Just to give you an idea what a great lover Victor is, I found a letter. Listen, I found a letter he wrote to his sweetheart last night, and he don't even know that I have it. Get this. He says, my darling, I love you. Dearest, I adore you. I swim the river and ocean for you. I break shot and shell for you. I go through fire, wind, and storm for you. There's nothing I wouldn't do for you. P.S. I'll be over next Saturday if it don't rain. That's Victor. Well, folks, right now I'm going to ask Victor to play a song for me. That's a number I introduced in Shell CHATEAU several weeks ago from Miss Marion Davis' picture, Page Missouri. The song has become number one, so I don't have to tell you the name of it. Shell out, Victor, shell out. Each little word you utter is like a melody, like a tuneful spoonful of music to little smile you give me is like an April day. I miss you every moment you're away. When the moon is new, I always make a little wish or two. And when I want someone to tell them to, what do? I page Miss Glory. When the stars grow bright and sprinkle all the shadows with their light, to add a little bit of romance to a lovely night, I page Miss Glory. I've never seen a sunset, a rainbow in the sky, that ever could compare with the glory of your eyes. So when we're apart, and I begin to feel the teardrops start, and when I get that empty feeling way down in my heart, I page Miss Glory. When the moon is new, I always make a little wish or two. And when I want someone to tell them to, what do? I page Miss Glory. When the stars grow bright and sprinkle all the shadows with their light, to add a little bit of romance to a lovely night, I page Miss Glory. I've never seen a sunset, a rainbow in the sky, that ever could compare with the glory of your eyes. So when we're apart, and I begin to feel the teardrops start, and when I get that empty feeling way down in my heart, I page Miss Glory. Our first guest in CHATEAU tonight is a tennis champion. He's won more cups than you ever saw in your life. I'll never forget the time I won a cup in a tennis tournament. I brought the cup home and showed it to my dad, and he said, "Why don't you play again? Maybe they'll give you a saucer." But don't laugh, that isn't so funny. But the young man we have with us tonight really accomplished the impossible 10 days ago. Ladies and gentlemen, when he won the National Singles Championship of the United States away from Fred Perry, the Englishman who has held it for the last 2 years. This chap Ellison is a Texan. His name is Wilmer Ellison, and he's just arrived in CHATEAU this minute. Come on out here, Wilmer. Let him see you.
Hello, Al. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait a minute, Wilmer. How'd you make out in your match this afternoon?
Al, we just nosed them out. We were playing Buster and Bunyo, the Frenchmen. And Johnny Van Ryn and I finally beat them. 6-4, 6-4, 7-9, and 6-4.
Congratulations, Wilmer. But listen, I watched you playing over at the Los Angeles Tennis Club yesterday, and the way you swing at a ball reminded me of Babe Ruth. Tell me, did you ever play any baseball?
Well, as a matter of fact, I did. When I got out of high school, I had an offer to play professional ball in the Texas League.
A Texas leaguer, huh? Did you take the offer?
No, Al. My father didn't want me to be a pro, so I turned it down. And the next day, he bought me a tennis racket. That fall, I went to the University of Texas, and then I really began to learn the game.
Well, who taught you?
The greatest tennis coach in the country, and he doesn't get paid for it either.
What's the matter with him? Is he a socialist or don't he need money?
It isn't that. Dr. Feeney coaches tennis for the fun of it. But his real job is teaching in the university. He teaches Greek.
Greek? You mean like taxi flits and party taxes?
No, his Greek is the real stuff.
Well, that's fine, but I'm not interested in Greek. I get enough of it when I go to a restaurant. Listen, what I want to hear about is your match with Fred Perry last week. Tell me, did you feel you were going to win before you started?
No, but I thought I had a pretty good chance.
Come on, Wilmer, tell us about it.
Well, Al, you know in tennis, the fellow who serves is supposed to have a big advantage.
Sure, I know. He hits the ball first.
That's it. So in an ordinary set, if you can win your own service every time, and just win the other fellow's once, you win the set.
I get it. Well, who served first, you or Perry?
I did, and I won that game. Then in the fourth game, I broke through Perry's service to make it 3-1.
I'll bet that made you happy.
Well, I was for a minute. But Perry won the next 2 games, and we were even.
Oh, I get it. You mean he broke through your service?
Yes.
Oh, you shouldn't let him do that, Wilma.
You're telling me.
I'm only kidding. Go ahead.
Well, we each won our service games until the score was 6-5.
Well, wait a minute, Wilma. How many games are there in a set?
Well, you see, Al, just for sake of argument.
Who's arguing?
Well, anyway, the first man to get 6 games wins the set, but he has to be at least 2 games ahead to win. So if the score is 5-all, and I win the next game, I need 1 more to win the set.
I understand it, Wilma. Just like how old is Dan. Well, look, the score is 6-5 in your favor, and Perry is serving. Are we set?
Yes. And I managed to break through in that time and win the set.
That's the first set, and the match is 3 out of 5 sets, right?
Yes.
I think I'll sit down.
All right. Anyway, in the second set, I went to work even harder, and I finally won it 6-3.
Well, so now you're leading 2 sets to no sets.
Yeah. In the third
set,
all right, the third set, we fought pretty evenly, each of us winning our own service, until it was my serve and the score was 4-3. That was the game Perry decided he had to have. If he could pull even at 4-all, he still had a good chance to save the match. On the other hand, I knew he wanted that game, and I figured if I could win it, the match was in the bag for me.
Go on, Wilma. Now I'm beginning to learn my tennis. What happened next?
Well, Perry went after the game with all he had. And before I knew it, he'd won the first 2 points. But with the score 11-30 against me, I managed to shoot over a service ace. And on the next point, I scored with a volley to make it 30-all. Then we seesawed back and forth. The score went to deuce 4 times. And it wasn't until the 14th point that I was able to put over the winning shot.
Love, said deuce. You got me nuts. But all right, Wilma. You need 1 more game. Go on. What happened next? Come on, tell us.
Well, it had shaken Perry a little to lose that 8th game, but he was serving. He wasn't through yet. He got the first point with a beautiful smash. I got the second with a drive to his backhand corner. He came back to win the third, so he was leading 30-15. On the next point, we exchanged drives for a while, and I managed to get up to the net and finish it off with a cross-court volley.
Boy, I'm excited. That makes it 30-all. Go on, Wilma. Go on.
On the next point, we had another long driving exchange. Finally, I worked my way up to the net again, and then Fred tried to lob over my head.
He tried to put a lob over your head? Fine guy, those Englishmen.
Yeah. I was able to smash it and win that point.
40-30. Match point, folks. Go ahead, Wilma.
Well, Perry sent over a terrific service. I barely managed to get it back. Fred slammed my return to the other corner, and I got that back. After a couple more exchanges, I got to the net again. Just as I got there, Perry shot a terrific drive down my forehand alley. I was going to play it. I could have reached it easily, but I thought it was going to be out, so I let it go. I watched it land, and it seemed like he had turned it before Elijah Hart out.
Same set and match. I wish I could have been there to see it, Wilma. Oh, I love to watch tennis, but I don't play it so good. But golf, now there's a game. I'd like to play golf with you sometime, Wilma.
I'd like that fine, Al. I play golf a little.
You do?
Yes, when I was in London for the Wimbledon matches, I played 18 holes with a friend of yours, Lawson Little.
Lawson Little. Hey, by the way, when you played Little, what was your score for the 18 holes?
I got a 68.
A 68. Just like that, you say it. Well, a 68. Mm-hmm. Come up to my house tonight. We're playing fishy-pashy.
Well, I play that, too.
What'd you say, Wilmer?
I say I'll play a little of that, too.
Oh, a little of that. All right. Well, you know too many games, Wilmer. I know you know golf and tennis, but I didn't know you knew fishy-pashy. But anyway, I hope you win another title in the Pacific Southwest Final tomorrow. And I know all the folks here in CHATEAU will be pulling for you, too. So long and good luck. You know those kids that work here in CHATEAU, Jack Stan and Peggy Gardner? Well, a funny thing happened to him yesterday. Jack, you know, is a great baseball fan. And yesterday afternoon he got some time off, and he was going to take Peggy to the ball game. Well, he called for her about 1 o'clock, and she wasn't ready. And by the time she got downstairs, they missed the bus. Well, when it finally got to the baseball field, the game was already in the 8th inning. Well, Jack was boiling. Well, he was so mad, and he said, "What's the score? What's the score?" And somebody said, "Nothing to nothing." And Peggy said, "Why, Jack, isn't that wonderful? Look, we haven't missed a thing." Well, Jack forgave her, and I guess that's love. Anyway, the kids are going to sing One Alone from the Desert Song, Jack Stanton and Peggy Gardner.
Lonely as the desert breeze, I may wander where I please, yet I keep on looking for them. And before I give my all for my life, I know my love enduring. This will be a magic word for me. If he was mine,
Our next guests are two boys I've known a long time. If you go to the movies, you must know them too. The famous comedy teams Frank McHugh and Alan Jenkins. It's a funny thing. The other night, McHugh and Jenkins went to a party where they had a little too much beer. Don't we all? While driving home, Jenkins turned to McHugh, who was at the wheel, and said, "Hey, you better be careful how you drive. First thing you know, you'll be running your car in a ditch." McHugh looked up and said, "Who, me? I thought you were driving." Well, anyway, it's a pleasure to welcome the boys to CHATEAU, where they will present a scene from Jimmy Gleason's famous comedy, Is That So? With Frank McHugh as Hap Hurley, Alan Jenkins as Chick Cowan, and George Meeker as Clinton Blackburn. It is night, and under the street lights glare on Fifth Avenue by the edge of Central Park, Chick is seated on a bench, Hap leaning against the wall. Chick is idly picking up pebbles and tossing them when he notices a cigarette butt. He looks at it several times and glances at Hap's back. He picks up the butt and examines it to see what the name is. He scratches a match to light it, which attracts Hap's attention.
Cut what out?
Cut that out.
What?
That. You know what I mean, that. Cut it out and throw it away.
Is that so?
Yes, that's so, and throw it away now.
Is that so?
Yes, that's so, and throw it away now.
When was you me old man?
Never mind about me being your old man. Cut it out and throw it away.
Is that so?
And if you pull that one again, I'll smack you down welterweight or no welterweight.
Oh, Hap, what's the idea? I ain't in training now.
Come on, smoke it. Smoke your head off. Here's a whole one. Smoke yourself into your grave for all I care. I should grieve over a bum like you.
Bum?
You heard me, bum. You ain't worth a half a pint of river water to take to drown you. I'm done with you.
You mean I'm done with the fighting game?
I mean you better get back and get the rear end of that Brooklyn streetcar and leave box fighting to Emmett and stay in it. You a fighter. That's a hot one. You a fighter.
Well, who was the first one that told me I could fight? You did. You was the first.
And what a sap I was, too. Fighter? Why, you couldn't fight a paralyzed blind man unless they muzzled him for you. Fighter. Yeah. Horizontal fighter. What'd you do tonight? Go ahead. What'd you do tonight?
Well,
I'll tell you what you done. You deliberately got yourself knocked out through a fighting your manager deliberate.
well, I wasn't on long.
They counted 10 on you, didn't they?
Well, Hap, I told you that Pollock handler.
That Pollock handler. What if he did wave a towel at you? What are you, a horse that you got a shy and everything?
Well, I was sick. I didn't have enough to eat today.
Yeah? And what did I have so you could have the little you got? I'll tell you, nothing. But I ain't crabbing at that. It's all in a day's work with me. But to have you go in up against that setup and then throw it? Oh, Mama.
Well, I had to walk all the way up to 116th Street.
Yeah? And who walked it twice? And back? I did. Once to make the match and once to see you chuck it away. Well, that's that.
Oh, Hap. I'm sorry about that go tonight. And I'm sorry I ever looked at that Pollock handler. Honest, Hap. I'll never look at another Pollock as long as I live. Hap, I never meant to lose that go tonight. Honest, I never. Hap, you ain't going to give me the air, are you?
Listen, stupid, you give yourself the air. Now, I hope you got enough of it. Shut up. Let me read my paper.
Oh, Hap. What you reading?
The help wanted, mail. I suppose you ain't interested in that none, huh?
Oh, Hap.
Well, here comes a good time Charlie, all right. He's lit up like Broadway.
Good morning.
Hey, mister. Drop your watch.
That's all right. I meant to drop it. Wanted to see if you were an honest man.
Here. It's paint.
That's all right. I meant to drop that, too. Say, do you want to fight?
You always want to fight. I'm this lad's manager. He fights 147 ringside, and he fights anybody, see?
All right, let him take his coat off.
What?
Take your coat off, young fellow, and I'll give you the best showing you ever had.
You mean you want to fight him yourself?
That's what I said.
This is Eddie Chicago of Brooklyn.
I don't care if he's General Pershing in full uniform. Come on, Mr. Chicken Hooters. I'll show you to take a beating.
I'll tell you, haven't you, the sucker's game?
Listen, brother. You don't want to battle with me. On a level, you lit up like Broadway, and I could make hash out of you in a minute. Now, you sober up, see? And then I'll come around and we'll stage you good go in your backyard. What do you say?
I'll fight you now.
Listen, brother. Let's postpone this till we're all feeling better. Besides, you wouldn't want to take advantage of a lad that's sick, would you?
Sick? Well, who's sick?
He is. He's been sick all day. And he had a bad fall tonight.
Oh, is that really so? Are you sick?
Yeah. I ain't been feeling very good today.
Oh, well, I certainly would never take advantage of any sick man. I tell you what you do. When you're feeling yourself again, you come around, and we'll have a bout. Is it a go?
It certainly is, mister.
Is that so? Well, they'll fight when and where I tell him to. I'm his manager.
Well, you must be a mighty bad manager to let him get sick. Am I right or am I not right, Mr.
Hurley. Hap Hurley.
Right so, Mr. Hurley. And this young man?
Eddie Chicago of Brooklyn.
Oh, I haven't heard of you in quite some time. Oh, pardon me. My name is my card.
Hey.
Mr. Hurley.
Here, you give me 3. Mr. Blackburn. Mr. Blackburn, Chick.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Blackburn.
Mr. C. Clinton Blackburn.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. C. Clinton Blackburn.
Hey, what do you think you're doing, a vaudeville act? Pleased to meet you.
I assure you, gentlemen, the pleasure is all mine. Oh, I remember seeing you lick young Tierney.
Yeah? And what a lesson he gave that big gorilla.
You haven't been in things lately, have you?
I'll say we haven't.
What's the matter?
Go on. Tell him. Well, never mind. I'll tell him. Well, things are going pretty bad for us, and we're on the rocks for fair. Till finally I run onto a chance of a winner-take-all over the AC at 116th Street. Up I go this morning to make the match, leaving him our last 20 cents to eat on. And I walked all the way up and back. Up we both go about 6 bells. He wraps the bag a couple of minutes, takes a shower, somebody stakes him to a bowl of soup, and in he goes with a perfect setup that he should have lammed once in the match. But does he do this? No. He stalls for a round and a half. Finally, a Pollock handler we got in our corner waves a towel at him. This bright young thing turns to take a peek at the Pollock, and zowie. The setup copped him on the button for a clean KO. Down he goes and kisses a canvas for a spade on of 181. Well, after I and the Pollock brung him to, and I laced a couple into Mr. Pollock, we vamped the club. And this is as far as we got on our first halt for time and wind, and that's that.
You mean to say the poor boy had to fight on an empty stomach after walking all the way uptown?
Oh, I had enough to eat. And the walk was like a little train up the
Well, I walked it twice, and I had nothing to eat.
Oh, this is really terrible. Have call a cab, will you? You boys must come over to my house and have something to eat.
Ain't no cabs in sight. Where do you live?
945 Fifth Avenue.
Oh, that's right across the street.
Why, sure.
Oh, yes, sure it is. Well, come on, boys, and we'll feed ourselves. Say, tell me, Hap, is Chick still good?
Good. I'll tell her, well, this guy is there.
Well, maybe you boys might be able to do me a little favor, if you will. Perhaps we can come to some sort of a business arrangement.
What do you want us to do? Take a poke at somebody?
You're always taking a poke at somebody. It's a wonder you wouldn't save him for your regular battles. You wouldn't hit the mat so often.
Is that so?
Yes, that's so.
Is that so?
Shut up and leave him get through. Go ahead, Clint.
Now, there's a man in my house who's a crook. Yeah. And this man has taken advantage of a personal situation in which I'm also interested in order to gain a pecuniary profit. You understand?
No, I don't quite.
Is that new? Do you ever understand?
Oh, Hap, don't you never let up on a thing?
Nah, that's the only way to pound it into your loft. Keep at it all the time.
Is that so?
Yes, that's so.
Is that so?
Shut up and leave him get through.
Go on. Now, all I want, there's plenty of room in my house. You boys can stay there as long as you like. I'll stake you until you get on your feet again. Now, this man that I dislike.
We don't do no murder.
Oh.
Will you shut up and let a man with a brain or two talk? Will you? Will you?
Go on, Spence. Act like he wasn't with us. Act like he wasn't there. Go ahead.
Now, all I want you boys to do is to get me back into shape again physically. I'll attend to the man. Cap, you can get Chick ready for another bout in the meantime. And I'll take you in return. You train me.
You can't train on no liquor.
All right, so now it's out. Is it a go?
Sounds good to me.
And who knows? This might prove the turning point in all our lives. Who knows?
He don't.
Oh, Hap, lay off, will you?
Yes, Hap, I really think you're too hard on the boy. I know he feels the deepest contrition for what he's done, don't you, Chick?
In the first place, he don't know what it is. In the second place, I don't either. But I'll call it a day if you prove to me in the world there's something underneath his hair besides concrete.
There you are, Chick. What do you say?
When do we eat?
What's the use? You can't even try that guy.
I'm sorry, boys, I'd forgotten. Come on, and we'll gather around the festive board.
Gee, Hap, do you think it's all right?
Hey, says you, Sap. Didn't I tell you if you stuck to me, you'd be living on Fifth Avenue?
Last week, ladies and gentlemen, I sang a medley of 3 of my favorite songs of the last 15 years. It met with such approval from you folks here in CHATEAU that tonight I want to sing you 3 more. In fact, I really think that these 3 are just as good as the ones that I sang last Saturday. And I know I don't have to tell you the names of a single one of them. If you please, Victor. Every little breeze is sighing of love and dying at sundown. Every little bird is resting and feather nesting at sundown. Each little rosebud is sleeping while a shadow are creeping. In a little cottage cozy, the world seems rosy at sundown. Where a loving smile will greet me and always meet me at sundown. I seem to sigh, I'm in heaven, when night is falling and love is calling me home. What? If I will call, and evening is nigh, I hurry to my blue heaven. I turn to the right, a little white light will lead you to my blue heaven. You see our smiling face, a fireplace, a cozy room, a little nest that's nestled where the roses bloom. Just Molly and me, and baby makes 3. We're happy in my blue heaven. Night and day, you are the one. Only you beneath the moon and under the sun. Whether near or far, it's no matter, darling, where you are, I think of you. Night and day and night. Why is it so that this longing for you follows wherever I go? In the roaring traffic boom, in the silence of my lonely room, I think of you. Night and day, day under the hide of me. There's oh such a hungry yearning burning inside of me, and its torment won't be through till you let me spend my life making a love to you. Day and night, night and a day. CHATEAU, Jolson, folks. We're back in CHATEAU, and the show is going on. Tonight we're presenting Wilmer Allison, Frank McHugh, Alan Jenkins, June Marlowe, Ricardo Cortez, and Victor Young in music. And right now, Victor's going to play for you a medley of his own composition. Every one of them is a great tune, and Victor's going to play them the way only Victor's Reebok Young can play them. Now, you folks must wonder why I call Victor Reebok. Boy, it is an awful gag, but I've got to tell it. The reason I call him Reebok, he's the toast of the town. Play on, Victor.
Sunday, I drove down to the fair at San Diego. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great fair. But was one entertainer down there that really got me. She's a singer, a blues singer. Her name is June Marlowe. And as soon as I heard her, I decided we must have her in CHATEAU. Well, she's here tonight, and I know you're going to like her. Besides being a singer of songs, Miss Marlowe is a lover of animals. As a matter of fact, in her home she has any number of little pets. She has dogs, cats, turtles, parrots, and all kinds of birds. Well, the moment Victor Young heard about this, he rushed up here and said, Miss Marlowe, would you accept a monkey? She turned around to him and said, Victor Young, are you proposing? Well, here she is, ladies and gentlemen, June Marlowe singing, Swing It, Swing It, and I've got to be there. Swing it.
When I keep seeing things and going places, my life has colors. Without new songs, without new friends and faces, would be much duller. Whenever people step up to say, let's step tonight. If I'd been low, I'd pep up, but getting the future's bright. Whenever there's a party I can go to, it makes the world seem right. When music is playing and couples are playing, I gotta be there. I gotta be there when joy's in the making and feelings are shaking. There's never a care. I gotta be there. Set my breath and throw the stuff away. I'm the lamb who's gonna stay when bottles are popping and dignity's dropping. The saxophone plays. I gotta be there, say, I know every cocktail mixture. I've got what it takes to fix your party. That's why I gotta be there. And of the songs I know the latest, and of the shows I know the greatest. Blacked out. That's why I gotta be there. And when it comes to dances, here's latest craze. You won't forget it for days and days. So come, let's swing it. Keep swinging, snapping. Just swing it. Anything can happen. It started in Harlem, and then in a flash, it traveled from Harlem. Now Park Avenue is taking us to say, swing it. Newer than the rumba. Just swing it. Calling out a rumba. They do it in London. They do it in Paris. It's hot and smoky. Smoky dokie. Yes, they call it swing it.
You swung it, honey. You swung it. Our next guest is a man, ladies and gentlemen, you've seen many times in many pictures. He was a star in the silent age. In fact, he was Greta Garbo's leading man in the first picture she made in America. But talking pictures made him even bigger than he was before. His name is Ricardo Cortez, and it's a pleasure to welcome him to CHATEAU tonight. He will appear in a one-act play called The Finger of God by Percival Wilde with Miss Florida Freebird and Mr. Wally Mayer. But first, I'd like you to meet him in person, Ricardo Cortez. The time, the present. Scene, the lavishly appointed living room of Doc Strickland's apartment. Don Strickland, rather. Strickland, a prominent figure in the world of finance, is striding nervously back and forth as Benson, his manservant, is putting the finishing touches to a traveling bag which he's packing. Suddenly, the telephone begins to ring. Shall I answer, sir?
No. No, don't touch the phone. Benson.
Yes, sir.
Close the window. It's cold.
The window is closed, sir. It's been closed all evening, sir.
Benson.
Yes, sir?
Don't forget. A heavy coat, fresh linen, and plenty of ties.
Yes, sir. I've looked out for everything, sir.
Good. Now, you understand. I take the midnight. You follow me sometime next week. We mustn't be seen leaving town together.
But how shall I find you in Chicago, sir?
You won't. You take room somewhere. When I want you, I'll put an ad in the Tribune.
You don't know when that will be, sir?
As soon as I think it's safe. Maybe 2 weeks, it may be 2 months. But you'll stay in Chicago until you hear from me. Is that plain?
Yes, sir.
Have you plenty of money?
Not enough to last a couple of months, sir.
How much do you want?
Oh, $500 or $600 at least, sir.
Wait a minute. I left that much in my bureau drawer. I'll get it now.
Oh, Mr. Strickland, sir.
Yes?
It's the midnight train for Chicago, isn't it?
Yes.
Hello. Hello, get me Mohawk 3500. Hello, Finley. This is Benson. He's going to take the midnight train for Chicago. Yeah, the Pennsylvania. And you better arrest him at the station. If he once gets to Chicago, you'll never find him. And Finley, you won't forget me, will you? I want $5,000 for it. Yes, 5,000. That's little enough. He's got almost 300,000 on him, the dirty crook. And you won't turn in all of that to headquarters. Yes, it's cash. Large bills. Midnight for Chicago.
Here's your money, Benson.
Oh, thank you, sir. Shall we go now, sir?
Wait a minute. Hello? Madison 7900, please. Hello? Pennsylvania? I'm on a drawing room for Chicago, midnight train. Yes, tonight.
Don't give your own name, sir.
No. The name is Stevens. What? You have one reserved in that name already? Well, this is Alfred Stevens. You have it reserved in that name? I see. Then give me another drawing room. What? You haven't any other? Never mind, then. Goodbye. Benson.
Yes, sir?
Get down to Pennsylvania and pick up a drawing room that's reserved for Alfred Stevens. You've got to get there before he does. Wait for me at the train gate.
Yes, sir.
Don't waste any time.
Very good, sir.
Who is it? Who's there? Who are you?
I'm from your office, sir. Don't you remember me?
Oh, I suppose I didn't recognize you on account of that hat. Well, what do you want?
Oh, some letters came late this afternoon.
Don't bother me with them now. I have no time.
I thought you'd want to see these letters.
Plenty of time to know.
But you won't be here tomorrow, will you?
Won't be here? What do you mean?
You're taking a train to Chicago tonight.
How did you know? Taking a train to Chicago? Of course not. What put that into your head?
Why, you told me so.
That's not true.
No, sir. Well, then I found this timetable.
Where did you find it?
On your desk, sir.
On my desk?
Yes, sir.
You're lying. That timetable never reached my desk. I lost it between the railway station and my office.
But it's the same timetable. You see, we checked the midnight train. I reserved the drawing room for you.
You reserved the drawing room for me?
I knew you'd forget it. You had your head so full of other things. So I telephoned as soon as you left the office.
I suppose you made the reservation in my own name.
No, sir. I thought you preferred some other name. You didn't want your trip to be known.
No, I didn't. What name did you give?
Stevens, sir.
Stevens?
Alfred Stevens.
What? What made you choose that name?
I don't know, sir.
You don't know?
I know, sir. It was just the first name that popped into my head. I said Stevens, and when the clerk asked for the first name, I said Alfred.
Have you ever known anybody of that name?
No, sir.
You're sure you never knew anybody of that name?
How can I be sure? I may have. I don't remember it.
What's your name?
Does it matter? I'm just one of the office force. These are the letters I brought with me.
What are they about?
Well, this is from an old lady who wants to invest in money.
How much?
$1,000. The savings of a lifetime, she writes.
Well, what of it?
She wrote that she had confidence in you. She says that she wants you to invest it for her yourself.
She enclosed the money?
Yes, a certified check.
Write her. Oh, you know what to write. Say that I give the matter my personal attention. What else have you?
A dozen other letters like it. Every letter asks you to do the investing yourself. And you're leaving town tonight. Here are the checks. Every one of them is made out to you personally and not to the firm.
You shouldn't have come here. Every man who has $5 to invest wants me to attend to it myself. I get hundreds of letters like those.
You must do something to deserve such letters, or they wouldn't keep on coming in. It's a wonderful thing to inspire such confidence in people.
You think so?
Oh, it's magnificent. These people don't know you from Adam, but they've all heard of you, know you to be a great financier. And what is even more real than you is your splendid reputation. It's something in which they rest their absolute confidence, something in which they place their implicit trust.
Are you sure I'm an honest man?
Don't you know it yourself, Mr. Cookman?
You remember, a few minutes ago you spoke the name of Alfred Stevens.
Yes.
Suppose I told you that there once was an Alfred Stevens. Yes, suppose I told you that he stole money. Stole it when he didn't need it. His family had plenty, and he had everything. One day a chance to be crooked came along, and he couldn't resist it. He was 18 years old then.
Only a boy.
Yes, only a boy. But he had a rotten streak in him. They caught him in less than 24 hours. He served a year in jail. His family wouldn't do a thing for him. Just let him suffer the consequences. And when he got out, I mean, when things had let out, they offered him help. But he was too proud to accept then. He told his family he never wanted to see them again. He changed his name so they couldn't find him. He came here.
And he's been honest ever since.
Ever since. For 28 years. Oh, it was hard at first. Terribly hard. In the beginning, he was hungry, cold, and alone.
Tell me more.
He managed to live somehow. Oh, it wasn't pleasant. But he stayed alive. I don't like to think of some of the things he had to do to stay alive. They were humiliating. They were shameful, but they were honest. He thought the year in jail was terrible. The first year he was free was even worse. You see, he'd never been hungry in jail.
What happened then?
The chance came. He found somebody's wallet in the gutter, and he returned it to the owner. So they said he was honest, and they gave him a job.
And then?
Nothing succeeds like a good reputation. He didn't fear because he knew they'd catch him. But he knew he was honest. The rotten streak was still there. And after 28 years, things began to break badly for him. He speculated, lost all his money. Then he made up his mind to take other money that wasn't his own. He knew it was wrong. But it was the rottenness in him coming to the surface. It was the thief he thought dead coming to life again.
What a pity.
He'd been honest so long, he made other people think that he was honest. He'd even made himself think that he was honest.
Was he wrong, Mr. Stephen?
Stephen, please. I don't know what sent you or who sent you. But you've come here tonight as I'm running away. You're too late. You can't stop me. Not even the finger of God himself could stop me. It's gone too far. You see this money? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Not a cent of it mine. And I'm stealing it. You understand? Stealing it. Tomorrow the firm will be bankrupt. And the police will be looking for me. What have you got to say to that?
The man who has been honest so long that he has made himself think that he is honest can't steal.
You're insane to believe that. Good night.
Just a moment. I was left a little money this week. Only a few $100. Hardly enough to bother you with. Will you invest it for me?
You want me to?
You mustn't run away, Alfred Stevens. You mustn't. Look out there. Thousands of sleeping houses. Thousands of people who believe in you. Millions of shining stars. And the lights beneath. And in the distance, how the stars and the lights meet. So that one cannot say, here God ends. Here man begins.
Hello? Yes? Oh, Benson. Yes? You're afraid I'm going to miss the train? Yes? Well, I am going to miss the train. I'm an honest man, do you hear me? I'm an honest man, Benson. Benson, I'm going to make good every penny. I'm not afraid. I'm going to face the guilty. I'm honest, Benson. Benson, I'm honest. You hear what I told him? You... Where are you? Who were you? Dear God.
We're back in CHATEAU again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to sing you another little song. This was written by Irving Berlin, one of the best pals I have among the songwriters. And the song is a big hit from the Dixie Top Hat. Isn't it a lovely day? All right, Dickie, shell out. The weather is frightening. The thunder and lightning seem to be having their way. But as far as I'm concerned, it's a lovely day. The turn in the weather will keep us together. So I can honestly say that as far as I'm concerned, it's a lovely day. And everything okay. Isn't this a lovely day to be caught in the rain? You were going on your way, now you've got to remain. Just as you were going, leaving me all at sea, oh, the clouds
broke, they broke, and oh, what a break for me. I can see the sun up high, though we're caught in a storm. I can see where you and I would be cozy and warm. Let the rain city patter, but it really doesn't matter if the skies are gray. Long as I can be with you, it's a lovely day. Isn't it a lovely day to be caught in the rain? You were going on your way, now you've got to regret. Just as you were going, leaving me all at sea. Oh, the clouds broke, they broke, and oh, what a break for me. I can see the sun up high, though we're caught in a storm. I can see where you and I will be cozy and warm. Let the rain beat it better, but it really doesn't matter if the skies are gray. Long as I can be with you, it's a lovely day. Ladies and gentlemen, you're all back here in CHATEAU next Saturday night. We're going to get our big show. Maybe you remember a few weeks ago I told you we were going to have Ginger Rogers. Well, she expected to be with us, but that week she caught a very bad cold and was unable to appear. But now I'm happy to tell you that Ginger's feeling fine again. And she'll be with us next Saturday night. The beautiful, the glamorous star of the season's outstanding picture smash, Top Hat, Miss Ginger Rogers. Great. And if that wasn't enough, we're also going to have one of the greatest comedians in motion pictures, that marvelous actor, Edward Horton, and plenty more. Wait a minute, plenty more. I'm holding back. I haven't got time now. So remember, the date's next Saturday night, and don't forget, when you're out driving and need gas, stop in your nearest Shell service station. This is Al Jolson saying from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, sisters, and the same goes for you, brothers. Thank the family every Saturday night. Thank you kindly for the letters you write. Swing it, swing it. This is Algie, your Algie Walgie, and I want to promise you.
Tune in next week at this time when Al Jolson presents Ginger Rogers and Edward Everett Horton. Musical selections on this program included Sweet Madness from Murder at the Vanities, Let's Swing It from Earl Carroll's sketchbook, Night and Day from The Gate of Orsay, and I've Got to Be There from Pardon My English. This program has come to you from the NBC studios in Hollywood, California. Your announcer, Burton Bennett. This is the National Broadcasting Company.